Good morning. What are we now? Monday, 23rd January 2017. This video is called Wake Up Sovereigns. Get a pen and a piece of paper, probably a drink as well. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. This is the presentation of a lot of people's work. It's not just mine. Some of these techniques we've seen work. Some of these techniques we've sourced the law and the statute for. As it's the work of a lot of people, I've employed the help of what we call a master brain. What's a master brain? A master brain is a collection of people that are experts or familiar within the same field as the other people that they're in with. So I have a group, Sovereign Solicitors. I started it a year ago, and it was for the purpose of helping me understand the legal system, who I am, what language they speak, how to speak back to them, how to conduct business with them honourably as an agent of my person or using my person to conduct business, not myself. So let's see what happens. Let's go through it. Those of you that watch my channel that are regular subscribers and that know my videos know they're a little bit scatty, so this time we've got structure and direction. This is being done because there's a little bit of a security issue with the group, with the information. The group on Facebook, Sovereign Solicitors. We're going through a little bit of a security issue at the minute, so we're tightening our belts, and I want to release some information up to date, up to press of what I know about what the law really is, what a court really is. And like I say, you need to get a pen, a bit of paper. I'll go as quick as I can, and this is going to be presented to you as clearly and as concisely as I can. It's the work of other people and myself. I will give credits later on in the title. Sovereign Solicitors, all the admins in there, people in other groups on Facebook that I've made friends with, that I've been chatting to. Some information, I went to a meeting in Nottingham for free thinkers. Some's been collected from there. That was this Saturday just gone on the 21st of Jan. Good to meet you all down there. If any of you was down there and you're watching this, then I'm sorry I didn't get to say hello to everybody, and I will try and come back down next month and put some of this stuff together, introduce myself, tell you where the files are, the templates, the information, the video links. I've got over 150 files, PDF files for you to use and look at, references, act, statute, templates, letters that have worked, stuff like that that are in our group on Facebook. I'm launching a clothing label in conjunction with middlefingerclothing.co.uk called, my label's called Corrupt Crown Clothing, established 2017. First designed for the release early February will be the legal name fraud t-shirt. £20 donation to our group. No, minimum £15 donation. It's been revised. Minimum £15 donation to our group and cause for the purpose of a website and server to be built, and you get a free t-shirt. Alright, let's go, because I know most of you are dying for this. I've got to get to the place that shall not be mentioned for 8 hours at 2 o'clock. So history of this country is fraught with battles. You know that this is our land. Just look through history, read. You want to understand what law really is. Yeah. Most of you think that when you go into a court or a courtroom, the people in front of you that purport law and that, you know, use these law words and all official, and they've got the letters and the templates and the summonses and things like that, you know, and the warrants and the liability orders. You think that when you go into a courtroom that the people that are sat in front of you that propose to purport law really use words to make you believe that law is on the table before you. It's not necessarily law that they practice. They missteps. They get you in quickly. They jump a few steps at the beginning, which you guys miss, and then they get straight onto the order of business. And they use words that sound like the law is happening, but law is not what is happening. Regardless of your religious, whichever religion you are, regardless of your religious, situation, your stance at the minute, I'm going to try and explain law to you, and it will involve involve references to the Bible. The research that I've done, it does involve codes and going off on a tangent. It involves an immense amount of work, over 5 years of research on this alone. Some of the individual subjects within this information has taken maybe 4 to 6 months just on that to analyse, source and trace it. All law, spelt A-double-L-L-A-W, all law. What is all law? Or pronounced all law. Allah, all law. All law is important. I'll explain it later. All law is connected with God. All law. Let me think what the reference that is. I didn't put any more than that. The all law is basically, it sounds like Allah, doesn't it? And all law. This is what God is. God. It's another word for God in the in one of the languages. All law is God. God, abbreviated G-O-D, government, ordinance, department. All law is God, and God is all law. Bear with me. Who can use it? People that are in their sovereign capacity. Not anybody that is in the state of a ward or a fiction. You need to be in your sovereign capacity to be able to use law. Not as a person, not as a fiction, not as somebody that's sworn in with a license registration number to a society using a license to purport law when they may not be in their sovereign capacity. You remember the Emancipation Proclamation of Slavery happened in 1863. It was in America. It didn't actually set any slaves free. It standardised slavery in my eyes. These are all my views. This is not solid. I'm not saying that this is black and white. This is just my latest release of information and data for you to consider, criticise, praise and grumble. It standardised slavery, forced the people into nation states, the United Kingdom and Britain. I'm on the landmass England. Yeah, I'm a free-born man. I'm a man born on the landmass England. I'm not in Britain and I'm not in the United Kingdom. The corporations, your person and citizen are in them. They need codes, these businesses, United Kingdom, Britain. They are not laws. They are what they say they are, codes and statutes for the corporations. The reason they are not law is because they are not in a sovereign state. When they sit and they make these rules, the only people that can make law, rules, real law, are sovereigns. So these people that sit in these elected seats are not a sovereign. They are wards of the state in their capacity. They are not the man. They are an appointed something. So I view it that they are in the corporate ward status when they proclaim to be making law, which is why they make acts and statutes, not law. Any state that has your birth certificate on record, that means you have a contract. See my previous videos about contract, Sestu K. You belong to them. Thus, this is a kind of slavery, I view it as. You are a member of this corporation. You are a citizen. If you are a member of it, you are not a sovereign. Yeah, you are a resident. You are not a sovereign. If you have an address that's issued by a corporate state of the ward, the post office, your address, you're using that, not just your postcode. We've had discussions about putting your postcode in a box. Great, put your postcode in a box. It doesn't stop the fact that that your address was issued by the post office, which is a corporate ward of the state. Using an address, maybe use a PO box. This is for discussion. Comments about PO boxes, advantages of using rather than using the address. If you fill out a form, you've entered into a contract. If you apply for a driving licence and sign it and fill out the form, you've entered into a contract. If you fill out a voter registration form or the census, the one that they send out through the post, the electoral roll, you've entered into a contract. When you ring up somebody on the telephone, you tell them your name. You might want a new mobile phone contract. You do it over the phone verbally. You've entered into a contract. You didn't have to give your signature. You did it verbally. Okay? As you are not in your sovereign capacity, you are viewed as a minor in the eyes of the law. That's right, a child, a nanny state. Why don't you grow up and be a man? Woman, man, it's the same thing. When I say man, I mean woman and man. It's just the way we reference woman and man. When you go to court, if ever you go to court, you need to set your status from the start. Never mind getting into who you are and why you're there and getting into the dock. Ask a few questions. Let's validate statuses before we proceed. Status is important. My status would be as a man, and I'd walk into the court with my inalienable constitution, inherent birthrights on my back. The stuff we signed. The contracts we have, these are contracts. I don't want to... This bit's a bit sketchy. We have prosecutors in America. I'm trying to do this for America and England because the English law obviously took over to America. America was the test state in some facts of the slavery trade, and then they were modelled. Their American system got rolled out to the rest of the nations. That's why we focus on America quite a bit. So statuses, you want to go in sui juris in propria persona. That's Latin. It's a very powerful language. That's why they don't speak it and teach it us anymore. It's secret. That's why their newspaper headlines are all in capitals. It's not correct language they're using. They're not using Anglo-English. All capitals text, glossa, dogma, Latin, corrupt, tricks. Newspapers, they don't speak, they don't say anything what the newspaper's saying. They're not saying anything. It's a printed paper. This paper's not saying anything. I've written it down. When you write words down, you are spelling. When you speak the words you have spelled, you are casting your spell. When you do this in court, anyway, you are spell casting. You are your words manifest thought, action, words, intent, out. You spell cast. And in the correct status. Propria persona. I'm not very good with Latin. None of us are we? We know the length of a triangle, though, is equal to the sum of its the length of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of its two other sides, but never used it once. Could have done with knowing this. Anyway, so you don't want to go in America. You would not go in as pro se, PRO-SE, because then you would need a prosecutor to come and handle with you. Over here we have claimants in England. The claimant would prosecute you. You would be prosecuted via the claimant in your corporate ward status if you claimed the name and presented yourself in the dock. If you discuss the statuses and let them know on the record as soon as you go in there that your status is in propria persona, you are not representing the certificate or the fiction. You never represent. You never plea. You let them know in advance that you are coming to the court, not attending and not appearing and not representing. Look at the definition of coming. It's all my own opinion, and this has been put together in the correct format of how to use and when to say what and what to do as a result of a lot of work. So I'm trying to keep it together and tight, compact and simple. So that's your status. You don't want to be in your corporate ward status and claim the name and say you're Mr. Jeremita or Mr. John Smith or Mr. John Doe. You are as the man with the constitutional inalienable birthrights with you. If you are in propria persona, they cannot touch you. You may even consider giving your birth certificate to the court. You could say that you are there to clear up the controversy surrounding the state name, the man, and you understand that the legal fiction and the state-owned name is the one that's called for today to attend this court. You would call over the court clerk and say, for and on the record, you present the commercial body of Mr. David Jeremita, Mr. John or Jane Doe to the court for and on the record for them to deal with regarding the case of unpaid council tax. Yes. So that's another way. He'll bang his clavicle and charge you with contempt maybe, or say that you must step into the dock before you can do anything. You would say, no, I haven't given you jurisdiction, I haven't claimed the name, I give you first-hand knowledge now, sir, my honour, not your honour, you call him my honour. Again, just something I'm ballparking around. And you would say, I'll give you first-hand knowledge that from time to time I have been known to use that name. I have gone by that name for getting dental treatment, for getting hospital treatment, doctors, things like that. You've entered into a contract and you've presented your birth certificate. You know, you haven't presented it, but you've agreed to be that and signed for him or her. So you can allow to be done commerce with this, because if you haven't got a date of birth and a surname, you don't get anything. Birth certificate to the clerk, first-hand knowledge to the judge, then he may get even more angry and bang his clavicle and say contempt, get this man out of the court. No, get this person. He won't say man, that's good. He'll say person, get this person out of the court. The policeman may be at the back if it's a crown, magistrates, and maybe he'll call for a policeman. He'll come and you turn around to him and say, excuse me, sir, public servant, you under oath of office today? He will reply yes. No crime has been broken. I've not given the judge jurisdiction over me, the man yet. I've presented the commercial body, David Jeremy, to the court. This minute in time, I'm your boss. You work for me. No crime has been committed. If you touch me, I will be prosecuting you, charging you with kidnap. There will be a complaint made in against that officer's individual name, not against the Met office or the CEO. Your corpse. There's nobody there. You need to deal with the guys who it is, Officer 167, PCO, and you'd recover damages through kidnap and breach of power in a public office, amongst other things. If he touched you, you haven't give that man jurisdiction yet. The black robe. The assumption is that when you walk into a court, that you are your legal fiction, and they start to adjudicate you on this. Which is why, from the offset, you need to establish, never mind getting on to what you're there for, or who's what, and what happened when, what paperwork you've got, how many stamps and pens and coloured bits of paper you've got. Wait, the basics. First bases need covering first. 17 minutes, yikes, page 3. The issues of law are threefold. Status needs to be validated, jurisdiction needs to be validated, adjudication needs to be validated. As a man, we are as king, yes, can you see that? As king, we as a man, we are as king. We are not being answering questions. I don't answer questions. Am I obliged to answer that? Have I got a contract? Not answer or contract, yes, through joinder. You know what that is. See my other videos, come into the group, ask the admins. We have our inalienable constitutional birthrights. We also have the Magna Carta of 1215, and we also have Article 61 to contemplate. Yet again, we're just brushing on that. That's available there at this point if you so choose. Who is the victim? Where is the claimant? What is your status? All questions you can ask to validate to the judge. At this minute, you're not looking at the prosecutor in America. You're not looking at the claimant. There's two people in this court. There's two people that need to sort this out. The man and the black robe. My honour. I am here in the body of the flesh and the blood. Yeah, when they ask you and they start saying, who are you? What are you here? If you get stumbled upon, you say, I'm here in the body of the flesh and the blood. I do not consent to these proceedings. Your offer is not accepted. I do not consent to being a surety for this case and these proceedings. And the last bit, I demand the bond be brought immediately forward so I can see who will indemnify me if damaged. Yes, when you ask for the bond, they poo the pants. If you're new to this subject, you need to look at that or ask the admins in Sovereign. We'll give you the reasons and details for that. Yeah, the claimant's invisible. There's just you and the judge there. Those 4 things you would say on the record, you know. 4 and on the record, I do not consent to the proceedings. Your offer is not accepted. I do not consent to being a surety for this case and these proceedings. I demand the bond be immediately brought forward so I can see who will indemnify me if damaged. That said on the record. My honour, what is your status? What is your name? Are you under your oath? Do you have your oath? Not necessarily important to see that oath, but sometimes you might get to see it. It's not mandatory. The question needs to be asked, are you under your oath today? Which means he's under his oath of office that he swore to the crown. The next thing is, ask him what crown he serves. There's 2 crowns. Manchester, no, Greater London, and the crown on that woman's head. So, which crown does he serve? If they can't answer that, there's no case to answer for. they serve the bar. If he's serving the bar or if he's serving the crown and the wrong crown, there's trouble. If he's got a registration number as he's a member of the bar and he's licensed and he's trying to practice law, then he must be in propria persona in sovereign state. If he's not in his sovereign state, there's an issue and a problem. He's not allowed to practice and use law. Where is your license and authority to act? If no one has these statuses, if no one has these statuses to be there, stay silent. They cannot proceed. Language of silence, blank paper reference. Language of silence, blank paper reference. Right then, the language of silence is that sometimes in court you may say something and you may be correct and the judge will stay silent. You do not speak. This is the language of silence. It's uncomfortable. He's thinking. He's going to give you a window, 60% chance. When you go to this court and you are dealing with whatever offence, alleged offence and demand made upon your person, understand this: we are not there to fix the corrupt system. We are not there to take it all down and expose it. This will not be done. We cannot do that there. We need to do something else to do that. You are there to get these charges discharged. Simple. So to get these charges discharged, he may kick off, he may shout a bit, he may get off and go on at you. And what you would do, you would maybe, here's a scenario, you would maybe be listening to him and you'll be going, I'm going to get every police and deputy in America, police in England, officer, enforcement officer, and agent of the Crown of England or America. I'm going to get a warrant issued. I'm going to hunt you down. This, that, the other, and then the prosecutor or the clerk would be ushering you over because you represent yourself, and they'll pass you a blank piece of paper while the judge is kicking off and making it sound like you're a dead man and you're going to be wanted as soon as you leave this court. On this paper that the clerk passes you, it's blank. They usher you to sign it and say, you can see he's putting on a show. There's a blank piece of paper. You wouldn't then, with the experience and knowledge, you would then sign that, knowing it's blank, keep your mouth shut, and make it look, the act continues. Then, the opposite side of the coin is, if you don't have experience and you're there to bring this system down and you're there hell-bent to cause aggression and not be there in your full sovereign capacity and understand how to play this game the way with the limitations and with the desire that you want, is you kick off and say, hey, I'm not signing a blank piece of paper. Who do you think you are? You can't give me a blank piece of paper, because that's going to get you in a whole world of trouble. So you need to know when there's a silence, when stuff that doesn't look like it should be happening is happening, step back and think. It doesn't make it right, but it will get you where you need to get. So think on. Every scale then taken, you think they don't want you exposing in their domain, in their place of business and advertising what we know and what we're doing, because every slave you take out of their system is a loss of money. They all know they operate in our land fraudulently. You see the window, you get out of there. You must fix your status in order not to keep going back to court and keep going back to answer for things. To fix your status, you need stuff like statutory statements. You need to know about how to write stuff, how to write it in hand. When you spell, you are spell casting. Don't always print stuff. Write out a statutory statement. Claim your person. And we'll go, that's more videos later on, and check my channel, Indigo Child. Search Indigo Child, set filter, channels, look for Illuminous Man. Illuminati, no, Anonymous, be your own hero, symbol JPEG for Indigo Child. Let's take a breath. I'm excited because I'm finally broadcasting the product of 5 years worth of intense research through a group of 50 people across many platforms, emails, files, chats, early mornings, late nights. Yes, I was up till 1 AM doing this, redrafting it. Make sure if you can to be on the record and to put the judge on his oath of office. Depends what court you're in, depends what state you're in. These are all good things for discussion. I'm giving you everything, then we can discuss and break down the USA and the England differences, because that's another thing we have trouble with. In England we find everything to do with the USA, the incorporated America, United States of Washington DC. We never get English law, but when it comes to maritime UCC persons and citizens, that's transferable. United Uniform Codes, United Commercial Codes, uniformed or united commercial codes. Yeah, that's all. They claim it stretches out to the seas of space, so that's why we don't ever but wonder or take apart, concisely discuss the legislation and statute so much, because UCC, and when it's Maritime Admiralty, it comes under that, and it's a broad thing. It goes out to the seas of space, so they claim. Common law is common law to England and America. The people must be as men, as sovereign, when you are dealing with a court or a judge, office of any kind really, but this is court. Do not rant and rave. Play smart, be peaceful, be clever. Do not get angry, do not shout, do not intimidate them. This is how to be sovereign, to rise above. We gave them the power they have, yeah? They're in a court system, we gave them the power they have. I'll come around with that later. The alleged power and authority, not power, alleged. They have got angry, they've got carried away with the authority. Ben Franklin helped this along in the economy, something to do with in America. You can have a look at that, who he informed, and unfortunately he didn't inform everybody how this was playing out and what the system was. Franklin, yes, the civil rights in the 60s was crushed quickly. We had a peaceful movement in the 60s in England. These people woke up, John Lennon and such people as. I think the drugs kind of killed that off after we lost the focus, we lost the desire. They didn't have no structure, didn't have no direction. They knew something needed to be done. They knew something was wrong. 30 years after 1930, what happened when they took the gold reserves and the silver reserves away for us, put in a fiat monetary system and made us officially slaves to the Crown State and the Federal Reserve and the perpetual debt. We no longer had gold and silver. They brought out the Wizard of Oz, and they told you in a film what they'd done. They brought out Monopoly. They told you in a board game what they'd done. They laughed at you. Put a man on there with a big top hat and a moustache. Mentioned this before, so... Yes, money, civil rights. We were saying, was quashed quickly. When we tell people that we are dead and not... we are dead and that we are a contract, people are surprised. This is the greatest story ever told that everyone's in, that nobody knows about. Yeah, the sovereign state, the straw man, the tin man, tax identification number is a tin man, had the straw man in the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, you had the gold road, they took away the gold in the 30s, Wizard of Oz. Oz is how you weigh gold. No, I'm not crazy. They have a little dig at you. They put it in there, it's messages in films. It's true. So, let's move on. Law is based on astrology, and this is going to get a bit deep now. This is where I got lost and a lot of years got put into this. Science, rules, astrologic, all law, Allah. Now I've got something here about Islam, yes? I've written Islam down here. I need to read you about self, law, am master. I, self, law, am master. Islam. That's why they paint all people that worship Allah and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. They say they're bad people because the Islam religion, Islamic law, actually really good, and you need to research it and look at the history. If you're a Christian, Christ is I am. Hence, when you go to court and they ask your name, you would say I am. That's to be as Christ. Gets a bit holy, and there's ancient sacred theology used in the church, in the courts and its systems. When they ask your name, you say I am. You speak the law, you speak the spoken word, you spellcast. You speak it into existence. Your thought transfers into a word, it becomes a spell. You are spelling, spellcasting. I am is your status. Law, zodiac, it's from the zodiac. Sacred geometry is in the courtroom. Judge, that's the triangle. Judge, you, claimant. It could also be judge, husband, wife. It could also be judge, you, mercantile agent. Sacred geometry. You look at the definition of appear. As I said, a ghost would appear. Only a ghost appears. You don't appear. You tell them you come in. You make a special appearance. You go as the man. You set your status. You only make a special appearance. You write to them, tell them you come in. They're there to... they are put the trap you put on you square. Yeah, they're to trap you. They put you on your square. These are tricks. These are all different dirty tricks that you need to learn about. You need to be aware of. One mistake and you've lost it. You want to make A special appearance to challenge the jurisdiction. Yeah, you don't want to keep sending the summonses back. No contract, no consent. We need to get knowledgeable on this. We need to get this information and template and technique out there. We need to streamline it a bit more. I need to go out and do some talks and get this across to people so I don't have to look at bits of paper. And we all need to start turning up at their places of business and their domains, and we need to start doing this and challenging them. And after a bit, they realise there's no money coming for these offences. We all know who we are, and we're passing it back. We're discharging it, remaining honourable. There's no bailiffs coming. There's no threats. There's no intimidation. There's no extra surplus of revenue coming, and we're keeping in honour. Another quick thing, going off the track, if you receive an offer and it's in your fiction's name and you argue it, you've handled it wrongly. If you accept it, you've handled it wrongly. If you argue it, handle it. If you ignore it, you've handled it incorrectly. If you make a conditional offer of payment under contract law, you've handled it correctly. It's only one way, the only one way. There's also ways of paying it using for your utility bills, your bond and your trust. That's another video, more info in the group, and also at the talks in Nottingham. There's people that know all about this that I'm finding out. I know very little about how to pay your bills using your trust and your bonds, but it can be done. All bills and utility bills are prepaid for us using our trust and bond and national insurance number, birth certificate, national insurance number. And when we get a statement and get billed again and we shouldn't be paying it and we don't have to pay it, it's illegal and it's unlawful. I'm so tired. Perhaps you put you on the square. You want to make a special appearance to challenge a jurisdiction. Statuses must be established before court can be proceeded, and a victim or claimant must be present. If there's no victim and there's no claimant, then there's nobody there. There's a dead entity trying to challenge, bring you and claim against you. I want to see a liability order with someone's name on it, a person's name that can be held under their public commercial liability insurance and vicarious liability. Whoever it is, I want to know. We want to know. If there's nobody there and it's a fiction, and who's the judge acting? He's administrating. He wants to try and administer your trust fund. He wants to be the executor, and he wants to be the. He wants you to be the beneficiary. He wants to be two things at once, which he can't be. That's not happening. Executor, trustee, yeah, executor and trustee at the same time, and we're the beneficiary. It's not happening. Your birth certificate. Yeah, you've given it to the clerk and you've given him first-hand knowledge. You've been time to time been known to use that name. You give him all the first-hand knowledge. You've told him that you're there. He can't issue a warrant for non-attendance because you already attended in the court, but without giving him jurisdiction. The law is something by people too. The law is issued by people, and they've got to be in their proper persona. Always submit paperwork before you go to court to let them know you're coming, not appearing. Look up the definition. Yeah, no reason to go to court. You said all should go to court. Yes, there is reasons to go to court. If there's experts, not experts, but I know nothing in the scheme of things. I'm learning and I'm just getting involved a bit more now, and we're actually getting some good techniques coming along. 32 minutes, nearly there. So this is what we can do now, and go there confidently and argue with them, submit nothing, contract to nothing, and they will start getting annoyed. We will cost them money. They will leave us alone. They will hopefully change the system. We need to operate always in our proper person, man, proprietary persona. Right, this bit is to do with the zodiac again, and I've got, like, you've seen that on the top of churches, the cardinal point of the zodiac, that is, and that's on the top of the church. These are all the deacons that are in there, and then this bit goes on to the cardinal points that apply, and there's 12 of them, so it goes 4 into 8 into 12. 4 is the cardinal points of the zodiac, which the church and other symbol organised corporations employ. The deacons, that's done like that, and then I know it's scribbly. I was up at 1 a.m, but I know what it means, and you can reference it. Codes and stuff. Trismes Hermegestus, randomly off the track. Trismegestus, Trismegestus, Hermes Trismegestus, Hermes, and Trismegestus. And look, you will find stuff to do with this. Roman Catholic law, ancient, that's where some of this comes from, the subject. That is immense. 12 zodiacs and 12 apostles. Yeah, you have 12 zodiacs, you have 12 apostles. All law, remember, all law is God, government, ordinance, department. Cardinal points, 12. They control everything in your life, controlling agents of everything. These 12 apostles or 12 zodiacs, the cardinal points apply. They control everything in your life. So if you believe that the Earth is at the centre of the universe, we say it's a solar system, it's a geocentral system. If you believe that the sun is the centre of our solar system, it's the heliocentric system. Solar system spins around the Milky Way, and all planets and the Earth and the Sun circle, or they're in their own orbit, yeah. So we're all orbiting on our own orbit, then we're going around the Sun, and the Sun's going around its orbit of the Milky Way. That takes 26,000 years to do one revolution around the Milky Way. 26,000 years divided by 12 equals 2,166. That is equal to an age or an eon. Each one of these 12 zodiac points is an age or an eon, and it takes 2,166 years to go through that. We've just left the age of Pisces, yes, to 2,166 years, and we are now going into the next age. It's a mathematical sum and age, 2,166 years. We've just entered the age of Aquarius. Each zodiac, yeah, I've got that bit done for you. What was the one we've just left, the zodiac? Pisces, it was a fish. Yes, Jesus was the symbol of a fish, correct? Pisces, it goes on the back of a car, you'll have seen that fish with the tail. It's a symbol of Jesus. We're now in the age of Aquarius. What's that mean? Information and knowledge, technological advantages, the need for information, the quest and the desire to learn and to be in the light. Justice, Jesus, justice and Jesus. It wasn't Jesus that died on the cross, it was justice that died on the cross. And any knowledgeable Mason that's above a certain tier will be able to tell you this. If you've got any Masonic friends, yeah, well, it does happen. People know, they have got links. Justice, Jesus, that's who died on the cross. Jesus was born of the Virgin, his mum, Virgo. That was the zodiac before we was in Pisces. We was in Virgo. Virgo, Virgin, give birth to Jesus, the fish. The Quran, Maxima Chronology, it's of an study of an astral plane, the Quran. The Bible, I don't believe is a religious book. It's a science, it's bibliotech, a record of bibliotech, heliobibliotech, record of the Son of God. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is only my beliefs, only what I've come across. I haven't seen this a lot. I've seen one video recently that a friend sent me that reaffirmed what I've already got written down, and it's that important. Like I said, notepad, pen, drink, and then do your own research. Join us in Sovereigns. Go and look at my channel. Look at the rest of the videos. I was Christian. I'm now a Buddhist because it's affected me that much, and it's kept me awake, and it's caused that much of a personal conflict. Then I needed to try and protect and be guided as best as I can by the light and the truth. That meant me changing from being a Christian that's been baptized to going into the Buddhist faith and religion. Justice died on the cross. Biblios Heliotech. Yeah, Biblios Heliotech. Bibliotech, record of Helio Sun. Just what I'm saying. Food for thought. The rulers and the Illuminati and the controlling members and the Crown State. Good news is their time is over, guys. You don't know this. The people that don't study the zodiac don't know this. The freedom fighters, the lawful rebellions, the people that are in council tax my arse, the people that are in parking tickets my arse, all the people that are across the platforms in Facebook need this information. It's relevant to us all, not just for the people in Sovereigns, not just for the people in another group. It's relevant for all the free-born men of the land mass, England. The rulers' time is over. We are now in a new age. The time is up. There was a foretelling, a prophecy of a battle that's up to come. I'm not saying I want one. I'm not saying that I'm going to make one. I'm saying that people need to stand up. You're not happy with things. 75% of the country is struggling, going to food banks and getting repossessed. Bailiffs coming. Their time is over. Their time is up. Hence people like me and this channel and our Facebook group and others rising and doing this and winning and having successes and getting to meetings and having people confirm this, having more and more people turn up at the meetings. Peaceful, protestful meetings, no non-protesting meetings. The problem is the people and the man are not ready. Aquarius. demands answers and truth. We cannot perceive the world we live in without the knowledge of the zodiac and what is happening. And the last thing I've put is on my scribblings of page 8 is about the woman. It's all sacred. You know how woman is written there? Womb, man. I know I'm terrible scribbling. Yeah, woman. Woman is W-O-M-B, man. And that's how the spirits come from another plane into this plane, astral plane, and they are delivered down the birth canal through the woman in a delivery room, in a ward of the state, given. It's horrible. It actually makes me cry and I get upset about it. The last thing I need to say, because this is a long video, 40 minutes, goodness me, and that's compressed. That's probably 5 years compressed. So I've stumbled and I've made a little bit of a, forwards and backwards step. But that's emotional. Last thing is, I heard a rumour that somewhere in the Houses of Parliament every morning they ask the question, are we still at war? And the answer is given back, yes. Why are the government at war, and who are they at war with? The people. Yes, the citizens. We, the men of England, have succumbed to non-disclosed private corporate contracts, left the sovereignty of England, I'm tingling now saying this, left the sovereignty of England and become a corporate fiction. We have gone against the English rules and kings. Our forefathers created the counties and created the government with blood, sweat and tears, and they built them up lawfully. And somehow the rules and regulations and acts and statutes that we've passed, all of us, over the years, have allowed international, maritime, UCC, corporate laws and legislation and codes to come in and govern our life. We are the masters. We are the bosses. Our government is saying that they're at war with us because we have deserted our positions of honourable, sovereign, English inhabitants. This ties in with some of the Magna Carta stuff that the barons are promoting. Don't ever sign something and send it to a baron yet. When you sign something, what have I just said? You got a contract. You need to know this. So you get your oath and sign it to the barons. You've contracted. What am I saying? What are we saying? Do not contract. You can send it through the post, the original, recorded delivery, and never open it. Before you do that, make 60 or 100 copies of your original, signed and witnessed to the baron, your oath of allegiance to the landmass England, and that you no longer accept what's going on is part of your duty, your sovereign, inalienable birthrights, and your lawful excuse going forward will be because of this, amongst other things. You now know how to handle yourself, present yourself, and what to do when you go to the black robe with my honour. Like I say, 42 minutes. It's terrible, it's heart-wrecking, and I am not trying to create disruption. I'm not trying to incite anything. This is a personal journey to get access to my children that's turned out like this. I've had first-hand experience with courts, papers, writs, solicitors, processes, statute, act, legislation, also driving and being a traveller. So, thoughts, feelings, Leon Palmer. I'm sorry this has taken so long, but I need to speak to you after this, definitely. Somebody else in the group, I said to you, you know your judo well. I will tag you in it later. This was a response to you last night in a thread. A mate of a very good friend of mine. You're just a new member to the group. We're going to have a chat later, but I'm at the Slave House, 2 p.m. It's now 11:30. Let's get this uploaded and have a chat. Peace, love and light, sovereigns. Bless you all.